Hello students, welcome back to computer organization classes. So the next concept is about branching. In the previous session we have discussed something about the straight line sequencing. So addition of first n numbers using straight line sequencing was the topic we have discussed earlier. Those who have not watched my previous video, please watch my previous video, links I have already shared. So the same example, consider the task of addition of n numbers, a list of n numbers. Okay, we are considering the same task, but the concept will be different, that is branching concept. So the number of entries in the list n is stored in the memory location. So register, here we are using the additional registers to store the count value and all. Register R1 is used to as a counter to determine the number of times the loop is executed. See, this is something like you just analyze, correlate this with your C program. If I ask you to write a C program to print your name for 10 times, what you will do? There are two options for you. One is writing the printf statement for 10 times, otherwise using a loop. Isn't it? Just recall. Writing a printf statement inside the main function for 10 times, right? That also does the task, but we can effectively or efficiently done this by reducing the number of code by using loop statement. What? Either we can use for loop or while loop or do while loop in C programming, isn't it? So in case of for loop, you can use the iterator variable I. So you have to declare the additional iterator variable I, isn't right? So for I is 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Inside that you can write the printf statement, displaying your name. That means 10 times the loop will be executed. So single printf statement is enough. That printf will be repeatedly executing. That does the task, right? So the same concept we are going to simulate with respect to assembly programming for addition of n number. So instead of writing that add instruction for 10 times, we can just use a loop. Let us see how to do that. So register R1 is used as a counter here to determine the number of times the loop should be executed, whether it is 10 or 20 or 5, whatever. Then content location n is loaded into register R1 at the beginning of the program. The loop is a straight line sequence of instructions executed as many times as needed, as you are aware of. So the loop starts at a location. Here we are using the label for indication purpose. We are using the label LOOP, okay, and ends at instruction, the instruction branch greater than 0. Here the loop ends. So you will come to know that here, okay. And during each pass, what we are doing, address of the next entry, that means address of the next number, where exactly the next number is located, that is to be identified, and it is to be fetched onto the register R0 at each iteration of the loop. Because earlier also you have added the content of a particular content located in the particular label to the register R0. The instruction decrement R1 we are using to reduce the content of R1. R1 stands for what? Count, isn't it? If you are adding 10 numbers, then that value of 10 will be stored here in R1. So after adding the first number, how many more are remaining? After adding the first number out of 10, how many more numbers are remaining? General knowledge. How many more? 9 more numbers are remaining, isn't it? So how you will come to notice 9? You have decremented, since you have accessed 1, you have decremented 1 from the list, isn't it? Right? So that's why we are doing, each time you are supposed to do that. Next time 9 numbers will be there. So out of in that you are accessing the first entry in the from the list. So after accessing them, how many more will be remaining? 9 minus 1, 8 numbers will be remaining. Right? So generally you have supposed to use the decrement statement to decrement the, or to perform that task, decrementing the list by 1 each time. Okay. So this is called as conditional branch, and a conditional branch instruction causes a branch only if condition is satisfied. So if so and so condition matches, then only branching will be done, otherwise will not be done, right? So here is the instruction, set of instructions, which is mentioned inside the set of instructions are mentioned inside the memory hierarchy as well, for your better understanding purpose. So first we are creating the counter. So counter is R1 here. Let n is a location which holds number of entries, how many numbers you want to add. That entry should be done on the counter register, say R1. So move the contents of n to R1, then initialize the R0 to 0. Clear R0 stands for initialization of R0 to 0, that we are using for the for storing the intermediate result. Next is the loop statement. So loop, actually we are supposed to have some instructions here. So that instructions will be written next, it is there next. Okay, this statement you just understand first. Determine the address of the next number in the list. For the first time, the first number itself is the next number, next time it will be the second, and so on, and add the particular number to register R0. Okay, so we are supposed to use the add instruction here. So inside the loop, add instruction, add so and so we are supposed to R0. Then we have to increment, we have to find the next location as well. Okay, that instructions let us see later, just go through the statement. After performing them, so since one number is accessed, you have to decrement the count by 1, right? So decrement, use the decrement instruction. Next is the conditional branching. So conditional branching instruction, this is called as branch greater than 0. So if it is true, go back to location loop. So instead of going to the next instruction, move where it will come if the condition satisfies, because branch will be greater than 0. Whenever there are many numbers available on the list, since there are 10 numbers as per our assumption, after first iteration, one number or decrement 10 by 1, you will be having 9 numbers on the list, which is obviously greater than 0. So branch greater than 0 will remain true until you reach the last number, right? Getting no? So if the condition satisfies, then you have to go to the location loop. Okay, determine the next number, and inside the loop you just observe what are the tasks you are performing. Determine the address of the next number and add the next number to existing content of R0. Once again decrement R1, branch greater than loop, branch greater than 0, loop, and so on once again, and finally move the content from R0 to sum. This is executed, this statement will be executed at the end, right? This statement will be executed at the end once all the 10 numbers are accessed. Now these are all the memory locations, sum, n, and num1, num2, so on. Okay. So next is about the addressing modes. So while discussing about the addressing modes, let us see the instructions and what the different ways of writing the instructions for executing the branching statements. Okay, there are 10 different addressing modes we have. Addressing modes are nothing but the different ways in which the location of an operand can be specified along with the instruction. So far the instructions what you have observed, first the leftmost side will be containing the opcode, right? Examples like move or add. Then followed by we are mentioning the source operand and destination operand, right? The way of or method or different ways in which the location of an operand is specified, that is called as the along with the instruction, that is called as the addressing mode. Okay, let us discuss about the addressing modes in detail in the next session. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.